So this is Peter Colla with Spiritual Therapies with Peter and Anna Colla, Dr. Peter Colla. And today I'm talking with some very special guests of mine. As I have reported to you in the past, I have worked a little bit in grant writing and subsidy writing for helping some people, especially patriots, to get some money that is due to them that had unfortunately been given to a lot of the big corporations. And then, thank God, Trump, before he left the office, he wrote a couple of executive orders and lifted a lot of the sanctions that prohibited the small businesses from getting these subsidies that they were supposed to get. One of them is called the ERTC. And how it works is that everybody that had a business before, during, or after COVID and had W-2 employees qualified for up to $26,000 per employee. That's tax-free money that doesn't have to be paid back. Now, especially when I started first presenting this and we started bringing this to some of my friends and colleagues and different things like that, a lot of people had skepticism, like, well, I don't know if it works, or, I don't know if I want to ask the government for money. All you're getting back is the taxes that you paid in the past. This is a tax return to help people in businesses. And here I've got Anya and David. And they were one of the first people that we helped write this subsidy request, and they got their check. So what I'd like to ask. So first of all, congratulations, Anya and David. You have a landscaping business, I understand, in Gilbert, Arizona. You might tell me how many, in Phoenix. How many employees do you have?
16.
16 employees. And so you were open during COVID. And yes. And like I said, you don't have to necessarily have suffered through COVID. Some people actually had done better business in COVID. I don't know if you guys did or not, but what you did have to do is had to follow the mandates that were out there. You had to do the masks, you had to do the social distancing. It might have caused your business to suffer. Some of your employees might have had to take this or choose to take it or not. And those kind of questions have actually then qualified these businesses that had suffered because of COVID. And your business, basically, whether you suffered or not, I do understand you got a pretty nice subsidy, and the checks finally came. Is that true?
Yeah, we ended up receiving just under $200,000.
Wow. So let me ask you this, Anya, and since you're a friend of my wife's and also part of the Polish community, when you first had this presented to you, were you a little skeptical about it, or what did you think?
Yes, well, that came like out of blue when Anya, we talk about something, and like girls talk, and we just we're talking about we have to meet, and and I mentioned my husband is so busy, it's been crazy after COVID, blah blah blah, and then your wife Anna mentioned that, oh, did you guys heard about the ERTC program? And I said, no, what is it? And she's like, we should make a phone call. And I was like, when I told David, he was like, no, he's like really, he's like, you have to show him, and he's like a businessman. He will not like, oh, two wives were talking and here, okay, honey, here's the thing, you got to do that. So we started reading about that, but we were like, we were kind of like, we don't have time for this, we don't have time for that. So you guys were like blessing when you just like help with all the paperwork and everything. That was really, really nice. Yeah.
And that's that's the wonderful thing about this company, Tax Incentive Agency. It's not my company. They only approached me because I do these online videos, and they needed somebody that could get the message out. But they do all the work. There's a qualifying process normally for qualifying for grants or subsidies, just like you go to the bank when you want to, if you applied for PPP, et cetera. And then you go in and you write in an application. And the first thing you have to do is you have to qualify. So there's a qualifying process where you go in and there's an application to qualify. And then it comes back, and then once you qualify, then they analyze your information, and then they send in the application, and then they get that awarded, and then they send in the final results. This is what you're going to get. So it's a 3-step process. Well, they've eliminated those steps because they have representatives directly in the Department of Treasury. So it eliminates the whole qualifying aspect. And all you have to do is identify who you are and identify that you have the legal right to represent the financial aspects of your company, AKA you have the tax returns. And then you qualify as long as you have under 500 employees and more than 2. And W-2 employees, that's all it is, and even some 1099 employees do qualify depending on how the structure is set up. There's even companies that have like schools or that have nonprofits that don't have anybody on their payroll, but they have expenses. They can also qualify because the volunteers, in essence, qualify as employees. But I'm so glad that you guys got it. And so tell me a little bit, Anna was telling me that, after a while, it took what, about 4 months, you applied for the subsidy. Ken, my boss, the owner of the company, the CEO, he talked with you, talked you through the application process. How long do you think that took? What, a day or 2?
Actually, he just sent us a punch list, said, this is what we need, and we can fill that out for you. It took me about 2 hours to gather everything up and secure email it over to them. And I think it was actually only about 2 months from start to finish before we received the money.
Wow, and that's fast because, it's funny that they guarantee 6 months. They average 4. But they say that if it depends on how busy they are at the IRS or AKA the Treasury Department, now it's the Treasury Department, and yeah, I've been hearing some people were getting it done in a couple of months, and some people it just depends on whoever the agent is that happens to process the scenario. So yeah, that's great. That's congratulations. That's really one. So again, like with us, God works in a very strange way. I've had this just kind of fell in my lap. It's just the right time. And I'd like you to comment a little bit about the timeliness of, Anna did tell me that you shared that it was just in the nick of time that this came, because it was like you guys were getting a little bit tight there. And do you mind sharing with that a little bit?
Yeah, things were getting a little tight. COVID did slow up quite a bit of things, especially on some payables, and some customers just weren't spending the money, but we were trying to carry as many employees as we could.
Yeah.
So it did make everything tight. And then, some other costs started going up and those kind of things. So it really came in and helped out, got caught up on a lot of stuff. And yeah, it worked out a right perfect time for us.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
And Anya, believe me that when I talk about it with you, I had no idea what I'm talking about. I just knew that there are some people who approach us that you can get some free money. I didn't know how to name it, this program.
Yeah.
But we all being ripped off for years and years by big guys, and it's just so nice that finally we can get something back.
Well, it's the employee retention tax credit, the ERTC, and it was actually one of the subsidies. Like people all got that $1,200, $1,600 subsidy. Every person got one. We're supposed to get one during COVID, and this was a specific for business owners. So it helped with to retain their employees up to $26,000 per employee. So if you have, like you said, you have 20, you say 20 employees, 16 employees, you get around, $200,000, and that's
there is no risk in it also, because you get it or not, but you don't invest anything, you don't have to pay anything, you don't have to, it's just like you say, 2 hours work.
Yeah, 2
submit
hours.
the papers, and that's it.
And really, all the papers that they need, and I'll give it for the anybody who happens to be watching, because when we post this, and we're gonna post it or show it to people, they need 3 documents. They need the 941s, which is a part of your corporate tax return, whether you're an LLC or a sole proprietorship or a C corporation. You have to do a 941, and they need the 941s for 2020 and 2021. Then they need the employee quarterly employee reports. Those come from your paychecks or your pay company. You can also, if you do your own checks, it's just the total amount of money you pay per employee per quarter, and that's the quarters of 2020, the second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter, and 2021, the first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter. Now, if you were closed because of COVID, then they can back up a year or two to get other quarters, to get an idea what you would have done in your best years, for example. Then the only other thing that they need is your total gross earnings. That is a line item, again, off your tax return. I think it's line 14A or 14B, but they basically, our accountant, our tax accountant, who happens to be licensed with the Department of Treasury, he looks at what you send him, and if there's any questions, he asks for an additional document or two, and that's it. Once he's got all those documents, they come through in a secure portal, so people don't have to be afraid about sending them. Once they receive them, they use them for the calculations, and then they dispose of them. They don't forward them to the IRS. They don't need anything like that. All they're sending is the contract with your tax ID number and your application and their calculations, and that's it. And then you sit back and wait. And until you get, actually what's nice about this company too is once you're awarded, when you first got the award, it does come immediately in the form of a tax credit. There are people that have huge ones, multi-million-dollar awards because they have 300, 400, 500 employees, and they don't want to wait, 6 months. So they take that tax credit and they sell it, and that is allowed. Usually $1 million or higher tax awards are negotiable. You can take and get, I've heard people getting as much as 70, 80 cents on the dollar. So they don't even have to wait. They just get their money right away. They just sell the tax credit. So yeah, didn't apply to you guys, but I've heard that it hasn't happened to anybody I know yet. I've heard people that want to. And last thing I'd like to do real quick is I'd like to have Anna and Anya talk a little briefly in Polish. So that if anybody in the Polish community is here, they may just glance through a quick discussion about how nice it was, or how, what a blessing this was, or that. And I'm going to leave you, sir, and thank you very much, and bless you, and congratulations with your award. You deserve it.
Thank you. It was a great help.
Thank you. Ania, to
Okay.
co, musimy zachęcić naszych rodaków, żeby brali co nasze.
Absolutnie, tak. Także ja naprawdę polecam, i Ania bardzo jest taką osobą, która, ja Ani długo nie znam, ale Ania jest taką osobą, która jest bardzo, bardzo szczera, i jeżeli w tym momencie, kiedy powiedziała mi, że jest coś takiego, ja zaczęłam oczywiście o tym czytać, ale po prostu wiedziałam, że to nie jest jakiś scam, ani nic w tym rodzaju. Wiedziałam, że to jest na pewno coś, co warto przynajmniej poświęcić na to czas, żeby sprawdzić, jak to działa. I tak jak było w naszym przypadku, Ania i jej mąż zrobiliśmy konferencję przez telefon, wytłumaczyli nam, o co chodzi, wysłaliśmy dokumenty do firmy pod podany adres, wszystko było zrobione przez nich, a zabrało to może niecałe 2,5 miesiąca i dostaliśmy po prostu zwrot pieniędzy. Także było to naprawdę bardzo, 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 bardzo potrzebne, i tak jak mówię, wypłynęło z takiej jakby, nie wiem jak mam to powiedzieć, z takiej szczerości, i tak jak mówię, Ania jest taką osobą, że po prostu można jej absolutnie zaufać, i firma jest bardzo profesjonalna i wszystko jest zrobione po prostu na czas i dokładnie. Bardzo polecam.
Dziękuję, Aniu. A ja przede wszystkim chcę dodać, że wszyscy musimy sobie pomagać wzajemnie i kreować tą dobrą energię w tych trudnych czasach w tej chwili. I jeżeli jest taki program, który może nam wszystkim pomóc, to zachęcam.
Tak,
dziękuję.
Także my zachęcamy i naprawdę warto skorzystać, bo to są to są pieniądze, które ktoś inny może dostać i jeżeli ktoś ma swoją firmę i ma pracowników, zatrudnia więcej niż 2 pracowników, a może się kwalifikować już na ten program. Także to jest zwrot po prostu za to, że przez ten cały okres, kiedy było tak ciężko, kiedy był COVID też i firma utrzymywała pracowników, a po prostu to jest taki zwrot od podatku. Także nasz pies
I to jest
tutaj walczy.
zwrotne, tego nie trzeba tego zwracać. Te pieniądze można przeznaczyć na to, na co my chcemy. Można to zapłacić pracownikom albo zapłacić jakieś koszta, które firma poniosła.
Tak, także bardzo polecamy. Ania spadła nam tutaj po prostu, nie wiem, czy z nieba, czy z Holandii, nie mam pojęcia, ale trafiła dobrze, także naprawdę.
Z Holandii, z nieba, ze wszystkiego, tak.
Tak, także zachęcamy i polecamy.
Dziękuję, Aniu.
All right, dziękuję. Yeah, I know that word is. I don't know. Could you catch any of that? Were you following that, buddy? I don't know if you heard any.
Yeah, no.
You're
A
like,
couple words here and there, but that's about it.
let him just talk. You know?
He's getting better with his Polish. I gotta be careful what I'm saying right now.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. Nice. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much, and God bless you. And we got to get together here sometime soon and get you guys over for dinner or something. That'd be nice.
We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, you take care. Bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And for all the people watching, jump on this. All you have to do is contact me here at posture.is.everything@gmail.com, and we'll set you up. There's still time, not a lot of time, but there's still time to get these applications in. Don't let this thing slip between your fingers and miss out. So
Absolutely.
Bless you guys, and we'll talk again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.